Happy Saturday, one and all, and welcome back to another installment of Odds and Ends Gaming Shoot the Shit Saturday. The segment here where we talk about nothing, talk about everything, and basically get together and shoot the shit. And I'm here today with Obsolete 2003,
Yo,
and I'm also here today with Espionage DB7. Hey, how's it going, S? Pretty good, S. How about yourself? Not bad. Uh, Seems like we have a bit of a small round table today. Yeah, I know. So other people didn't show up, but at any rate, how you doing, Esp? Not bad, not bad. Saw a movie tonight.
he's
What?
finally done it. He's lost his mind. Now your ego's so big, you're now referring to yourself in the third person.
No, I've just kind of my I've become the subject of osmosis, or is it my mitosis? Whatever the osis is that causes me to split into two unique individual bodies. That's essentially what I have. I believe the term is mitosis. No, I'm pretty sure it's osmosis. We'll have to check on that. Well, can you Google it? I'm kind of busy. No, I don't want to Google. You Google it. Anyway, as I was saying, welcome to another edition of Shoot the Shit Saturday. See, I can do this by myself.
Well, that's no surprise. You have so much ego just to talk
Oh,
yourself
it's
of
not
yourself.
ego. It's not ego. I wanna, but shut up. With every all of that being said, I do want to kind of touch a little bit on something that I brought up last week at last week's Shoot the Shit. So, as some of you may or may not know, I've taken a bit of a step back from the main activities of the channel here. Many of you have noticed I haven't done a Doom video in a few weeks, unfortunately, and we haven't done a regular live stream Saturday night the way we have been. I've just been dealing with a few personal things, and wanted to take a step back, but by no means is it permanent. As a matter of fact, I'm still doing some behind the scenes stuff for the channel, so I'm just kind of taking a bit of a breather. But we still decided to get together and shoot the shit. But with that being said, Obs, do you have a topic, or should I ask Esp over here?
Well, to start things off, I believe we just saw the new movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
You and Esp saw that?
Yeah, we did.
Esp, it was awesome. I gotta tell you, I actually really enjoyed the movie, although it wasn't all that scary. Well, tell us about it. Well, why don't we let Obs start? Go ahead, Obs.
It was a pretty cool movie. It was based on the short stories anthology, or I guess, yeah, three books of scary stories to tell in the dark. And it wasn't obviously all the stories, but I guess they kind of picked a few and they kind of built off of that, which is really cool because I read those books growing up as a kid. I remember when the book fair rolled around; those are the books that we bought, and
The Scholastic
I,
Book Fair.
yes, I still have one of the books laying around here somewhere. It's seen better days, but I still have it laying around. I actually read that even before I heard about the movie, just to revisit it, and the movie was pretty cool.
By the way, S number two left. He's gone. So, and luckily he's the one that didn't see the movie. So I did. So I can comment on it. But we won't be hearing from him for the rest of the night. Hopefully. So
Okay,
just wanted to get that out there. I know he was getting annoying. I hate that guy. Who invited him? But
so yeah.
at any rate, my thoughts on that movie. I did enjoy it quite a bit. Uh, do want to put this out there. Spoilers ahead. So we will more than likely be talking at least semi in depth on the movie. So spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, is a fairly new release. But at any rate, uh, the premise of the movie itself, I thought was that it not didn't lack originality, but at the same time, it's a premise that has been done before. What they did is they basically took a compilation of stories, like Ops pointed out. They took a few here and there, and what they did is they essentially made these stories the product of a woman who died. What was in the early 19th century or something like that? Is that what they
Oh,
mentioned?
rather, yeah.
Um, Basically, probably about 100 years ago. She was um, a member of a wealthy industrial family, and she was, for a particular condition, confined and chained to her basement. The only respite from the horror of her cruel family was that she would actually write stories, scary stories, in this book, and these are the scary stories that are the ones from the original stories, the scary stories to tell in the dark. Eventually, this woman succumbs to a gruesome fate, and she continues creating these stories, so much so that neighborhood children would come and knock on the outside wall and basically listen to her tell them stories. If somebody said, "Sarah, tell me a story," that's the name of the ghost, Sarah, she would essentially create a new story for them with them as the main character, which would ultimately result in their demise. Um, Story takes place in 1968, and these four kids wander into this haunted house. They find Sarah's book of stories, and essentially one of the girls, or the girl, no, there's two girls, never mind.
Yeah.
One of the girls, um, does the whole thing. Hey, Sarah, tell me a story, and she basically starts everything. Classic horror trope where the evil ghost is eliminating one by one, all of the characters. So that's essentially the premise. Anything you want to add on top of that?
Yeah, that's pretty much basically in a nutshell. And they found the book that belonged to said Sarah, and it turned out she was the one who wrote the scary stories that we're well aware of. And basically, with the kids that started disappearing, it was their fates were written into the scary stories that we are aware of. And so that was a pretty cool twist.
What a twist, huh? And worthy of M. Night. The stories that you read as a child were all written by a ghost. I
Settle down.
but now that we know the premise, what were your thoughts on the movie?
I thought it was good. It was entertaining. I'm not gonna say it's the best movie I've seen this year, but it was definitely entertaining. Just sit back and get a kick of nostalgia. Uh, the the story was pretty good, pretty predictable. Like, yeah, like you said, it's kind of a set formula of regards to previous horror movies, and this situation where the kids get into a pickle and they're trying to work their
What a
ways out
pickle!
of it. I guess.
If you, if you call having a demonic ghost, basically writing stories that result in your gruesome death, and you call that a pickle, I'd hate to hear what you call a real serious situation.
Life.
Well, I, I guess it's subjective to the person who's living it. I guess so.
So
At, at any rate, there was a few things I liked it as well. I did not think it was scary at all. I'm not huge into horror, but I do like a good horror movie every now and then.
the
Um,
movie is PG-13. Just a heads up.
is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, it it definitely it got a little annoying with the jump scares. The jump scares are something that so many movies do so much, and like I thought that one overdid it. Like there were parts where there wasn't even anything founded. Like the one part where the kid is hiding in the closet, and then the other kid opens the closet and it's there. He doesn't even do it that fast, but yet what happens? As soon as he opens the closet, there's this shrieking sound followed by like a huge pickup in the music, and it's supposed to terrify you, but it's kind of like it's just the lazy writer's form of the go-to thing. And I found the jump scares to be a little bit excessive in this movie. I liked the plot. There are a few things that were wrong with it, but all in all, made for a good movie. I'm not gonna poo-poo all over it. That I did enjoy it.
I partially agree with the jump scares, but in a different way. Because I mean, it's a horror movie. Horror movies are going to have jump scares for the most part, depending on the like Hereditary and all that. They really didn't have jump scares, but for the most part, yes. More often than not, there's going to be jump scares.
Yeah.
Uh, then you can kind of anticipate them coming, and then you like, oh, it didn't happen, and then like there's that 2 second delay where it's like bam, the jump scare. And typically with the jump scares, yes, it's like the loud boom or the little shriek with the scary music sound. And on this one, like with the volume meter, it probably shot up to like a 50, and it was like super loud. And the I guess surround sound in the theater was really good because it got really loud.
Yeah,
And
fucking I felt my. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt my glasses rattle on my face every time there was a jump scare. Did you feel that? You wear glasses too.
I did not feel that to the extreme, but it was quite a bit. It was, I thought, maybe slightly a bit excessive. I mean, like I said, it's expected with horror movies with jump scares, but this one they just really dialed up to like 11 in regards to like the scares
Yeah. Well, it
sound.
may be that I haven't seen the movie in a while, but one movie that I will say scared the crap out of me from my younger times, and even when I watch it, um, the most recent time I watched it was maybe 3, 4 years ago. So maybe it's that I don't remember it as well. But you take a movie like The Exorcist. That movie freaked me the hell out the first time I saw it. It really did. It really messed with my mind. And I don't really remember a whole lot of jump scares. That movie was more about the situation and just the scariness of what's transpiring. I remember one of the scariest, freakiest things was when Reagan, I think was her name, she shoots up in bed, she's already possessed, and suddenly, a light comes in, and then you can see the demonic presence, like the silhouette of the demonic presence next to her. That's not a jump scare. But that freaked me the hell out. That was freaky. Her head turning, that's not a jump scare. It's like the situation itself. If you can create an aura or an ambience of pure terror just because of the situation that they're in, that's when you know that the writing and the cinematography and the directing is all really, really good. I feel like too many movies rely too much on jump scares nowadays. Another one that you look at is Psycho, classic Alfred Hitchcock. That movie, the first time I saw that, I loved it. And there's like only one jump scare in that movie, if you can even call it a jump scare. It builds up so much tension at the very beginning, and then when the guy's going up the stairs, and Norman Bates comes out and starts stabbing him. I mean, that's like the only jump scare that's in the movie, but yet it's so creepy. I don't know if I would say scary, but it's so creepy. Um, I feel like that gets betrayed in way too many movies nowadays. The suspense, the tension, the angst, that you feel when you're watching these movies, and at the same time, it's kind of like the jump scare. I think people become desensitized to it because everybody, as soon as they start setting up some tension, like creaking around, oh, what happened? Where is it? I heard something. And then the slow reaching for the doorknob, or the slow looking around the room, or whatever. It's like you're expecting it, it's coming, and then sure enough, it comes, and it's like, yeah, what else is new?
Yes, but overall, it was still a fun movie. If you're a fan of the stories, I think it's worth checking out. Um,
For sure. That
Without giving anything away, they kind of left it open for a sequel. But I would assume just depending on how well financially the movie does, whether or not they'll greenlight a sequel. But I'm pretty sure it's going to do well enough where that there will be another one.
they definitely remained faithful to the art style of the book. They did, I think, as good a job as they could bringing those paintings. Because, and me and Oz were actually talking about this on the way back home from the theater. That I think those illustrations that came with the book are as much as part of the scary stories to tell in the dark, as much as the stories themselves. It's like the images by themselves, invoke enough of a creep factor in you, let alone them being accompanied by a story, and vice versa. So I think they complement each other perfectly, and I think the movie did a pretty good job of creating a representation of that.
Yes.
But yeah, all in all, decent movie. And this is coming from a guy who isn't huge into horror. That's your department.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah. So what else you got?
The Avengers Endgame came out on disc this week.
Oh yeah. Have you picked it up already?
Yes.
You did.
Yes. Had it pre-ordered. So,
Oh really?
hmm
Well, that's cool. Any special features that we didn't see in theaters?
I haven't gotten that far yet, but there are some special features and whatnot. But I think the one previously didn't really have a whole lot of special features. Like it had like a very super short gag reel, so I'm curious to see how that's going to be. But
One thing that we didn't talk about in our what was it? I think it was our very second installment of Shoot the Shit Saturday when we talked about the Avengers. One thing that we didn't bring up is and not like let's pretend that it's that it's real life, right? Let's pretend that it's not because of the actors, because I know that we brought up that Robert Downey Jr. wasn't really keen on playing Iron Man anymore. Let's pretend that that's not the thing. Is there a reason why they wouldn't have just used the Soul Stone um, to bring everybody back? We know that the Soul Stone is the one that can take and give life. So in there a reason like maybe take the gauntlet, take all of the other 5 stones off, so it's not so powerful, and then use the Soul Stone to revive Vision, Black Widow, and Iron Man. Although I don't know if you could do Black Widow because she had to give her soul to get the Soul Stone. But at least Iron Man, and I don't know if Vision has what can be construed as a soul, but again, at least Iron Man. Is there a reason you think?
plot holes.
Plot hole?
But I don't know. But um, I of the Avengers Infinity War or Endgame, I liked Infinity War better.
Oh yeah, it was way more action, much more screen time for all of the cast. I definitely liked it better as well. I like them both, but I think Infinity War was the superior movie. I
Yes.
still have not seen the new Spider-Man. I do want to see it, but I have not had the chance yet. I'll see when I can catch that film. I wonder what kind of references or allusions they make to Iron Man and Cap and all them. I take it you've heard about the new female Thor, right?
Yes.
Jane Foster's gonna be the new female Thor.
Oh, really? That I did not hear.
Hmm. Well, that's what I heard. I believe.
Hmm.
But
And speaking of that, there's the new upcoming Blade movie that's also coming out.
is it a reboot or is it Wesley Snipes coming back?
No, it's a reboot. Though Wesley Snipes is not gonna be in
I
it.
was gonna
And
say Wesley Blade 4. Is it? Would it be 4?
I think so. Blade 3 went horribly bad with Triple H, and it's
Triple
just
H.
yeah.
Whenever you start putting wrestlers, and I say this fully knowing that Batista's in Infinity War, but when you start putting these wrestlers in these big flicks, I think it's bad.
What,
They're
what was wrong with Suburban Commando?
Hey man, Suburban Commando. I mean, it was. When did we see Suburban Commando? When we were like fucking 10 years old. I mean, yeah, it was a fun movie when we were that age, but I mean, I tried. I, I'm not gonna say I
No
tried.
hold bards. What's wrong with you?
I like No Holds Barred, but that was a wrestling movie. That was a wrestler in a movie about wrestling. But Suburban Commando. I mean, dude, be honest. It's one of those movies that's so bad it's good, but it's still a bad movie. If you go back and watch it, that movie is just god awful. I still enjoy it, but it's a bad movie. Well, Mr.
Um,
Nanny, you remember Mr. Nanny or whatever the fuck that one was called?
yes,
And
Hulk
then
Hogan in the tutu.
and speaking of wrestlers in tutus, was the Rock's the Tooth Fairy. So I mean, yeah, these guys are wrestlers, not actors. It's just kind of like it's a
Yeah.
capitalization on fame. That's all it is.
Anywho, but yes, they're redoing, or it's Marvel, so they're gonna be redoing the a new Blade. So Disney owned, so most likely it's not gonna be rated R like the previous films, and so that's will be interesting.
I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the X-Men franchise. I believe they're doing something.
Yeah, they're in their new phase of these new movies that are gonna come out, so I don't know. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Blade, whatever else they can get their hands on.
The new generation of Marvel.
Yes.
I kind of, you know what? After seeing Endgame, I kind of felt like I had an investment in all the movies from Iron Man until Endgame. At this point, it's become almost like I'm not gonna say I don't want to see the new movies, but it's kind of like it doesn't matter as much if I see them or not. Like I felt like I had to watch every single one when it came out. You know, when the new Ant-Man came out, when Black Panther came out, when the new Thor came out. You know, I felt like I had to watch them all. And I could, if I remember, I didn't get to see which one was it. I think it was Black Panther that I didn't get to see in theaters, and fucking Infinity War had come out right after that, and Infinity War was about to come out in theaters, but I still hadn't seen Black Panther, so I had to go out and buy, a DVD of Black Panther so I could watch it before I watched Infinity Wars because I was like, I can't see it. I have to see it in order. I have to know, and I felt so invested and so on the line with it that I just couldn't bring myself to skip one in the series.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's kind of like I can do I can do either or. It's not a if I see I do want to see the Amazing Spider-Man, but again, it's kind of like or not the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Far From Home. But if I don't, I'll see it when I see it. In other words,
When you settle down.
when you settle down. In gaming news, I do have a few announcements or a few little provisos that I want to talk about. Season 3 of Fallback Friday is on the horizon. We don't have a release date as of yet, but more than likely we are looking at a possible release date, or not release date, but the time frame of maybe early to mid September, possibly. We're also going to be trying. Now, this is not a sure thing yet, but one of the first things that was ever on this channel was our footage of X7 One Last Round. So, One Last Round was a TFC reunion of a X7 clan, or was a X7 reunion of a TFC clan that me and Obs used to be in. And uh, we got some. The 1 year anniversary of that is right around the corner, and we got some requests to actually do it again this year. So that's something. If we do it again, more than likely we'll have a complete live stream of the entire event. Right here on Odds and Ends Gaming. So we'll go back into some TFC Classic, and I once again will don the tag of X7. And last but not least, I think we're going to have our second chance at Odds and End Trail October, for which will be our month-long Halloween special, in which we're gonna look for nothing but Halloween and horror games. Speaking of horror, definitely gonna try to stream as many scary games and stuff as we can. And you guys know how Obs likes to shriek.
I made you shriek and hide and shriek.
You made me shriek. But that being said, just wanted to make a few announcements. Obs, I believe you have a few things that you wanted to say. I think you have a question of the week as well as an indie game of the week for us. So take it away.
Yes. Before I get to the question, I guess so while we're staying on games, I'll stick with game content as well as our indie shout out. Uh, Recently, I picked up, as well as special guest, but picked up this indie game called Unending Dusk. It was released March of this year. It's up to 4 player online co-op. It's kind of a left to right beat 'em up game. It does kind of a retro feel to it. Uh, I played about an hour and a half with it. Played it with special guest Nelson Muntz. The video should be uploaded to
Ha
the
ha.
yes, the video should be uploaded to the channel by the time this airs. So if you get a chance to check it out, or speaking in the future past tense, you can figure out the whole time thing with that. But so far it's been pretty good. I
I
like
thought we were live
the
streaming
anime.
this. This is going out live right now. It's a special, weekday edition of Shoot the Shit Saturday.
Sure,
Just kidding. Go on.
but uh, liking it so far. I like the color. I like the soundtrack, and picked it up on sale. It's like about $6.
I saw a little bit because I didn't, again, since I'm still on a bit of my uh, sabbatical. I didn't join you guys, but I will say that I did see the game itself, and you mentioned the color and the soundtrack. It all strikes me very Sega Genesis, wouldn't you say? Because it seems like just that style. The music and the gameplay and the colors are all very Sega Genesis, right?
A little bit, yes. And
Because even though like Sega and Super Nintendo were out and competing around the same time, they had their own kind of distinctive styles as far as games and stuff goes. So that one game gave me a very Sega Genesis vibe to it.
yeah. And the cool thing is, like I said, it got on sale. I think it was about $5 or $6 right now, full price. It looks like it is going for $12. So it's still not breaking the bank. And the super cool thing is that when you do buy the game, you get the original soundtrack for free.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That sounds like a good soundtrack too. I heard it has some very, like I said, very Sega Genesis. If you remember like some of the beats from like Streets of Rage.
Yeah, it's a nice little kind of a teaser before the cyberpunk comes out. So it just kind of um, gets your taste buds a little going,
Get you
just to kind
salivating a
of
bit.
yes, yes. But so far so good. Got 2 levels in. Looks like there's a bit of customizations you can do with the characters in regards to. There's 4 different types of character types that you can pick. They all have their different perks and their abilities, and then there's
You broke up. Hello? Mayday, Mayday, Mayday! Come in. We're losing you. We've lost transmission. Contact. Attempting to reach Captain Obsolete. Hello.
little down.
Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am here.
We feared the worst. We feared we had lost you to your own
Can
doofiness.
can you hear me now?
Good. Yes.
Yo.
Yes. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
yes. Unfortunately.
Wow. This is what I have to put up with. And yet, of everything, I'm the one with ego. I'm the one that's so full of himself and this and that.
Who was the
And yet,
person speaking of themselves in the third person at the beginning of this?
I wasn't speaking of myself in the third person. I was joined by my doppelganger, clone, whatever you want to call it. Which, shh, don't bring him back. Keep.
Anywho, I guess I cut out when I was talking about the game, but the game was pretty cool. Got about 2 levels in, but definitely stay tuned for more of that game. I like it. I like the feel of it, and it's definitely a game that's gonna be revisited.
Very nice.
Yes,
All right. What else you got?
and we also have the question of the week from our dear friend Mike,
Okay.
and his
Channel
question
mascot.
is that's no. Anyways,
He's the channel mascot. This I decree.
no, I heard him say otherwise.
I he is. I have a suit for him. He's going to be the odds and ends. What's it? Right. I don't know.
Anywho, going back to the question, um, his question is: when it comes to your favorite genre of game, what would it be and why? Do you
Okay.
need a moment, or
I
are
I
you
got one.
good? No. Go for it.
So my favorite genre of game is, without a doubt, sci-fi. I've always been a fan of science fiction in games. Um, Popular examples would, of course, be the Mass Effect series. I think Half-Life would count, although Half-Life also would fit into the post-apocalyptic wasteland genre. Would that be a genre, real quick, by the way? Post-apocalyptic, because there's so many post-apocalyptic games out there that I feel like that should be a genre all its own, right?
I would think so. I mean,
Yeah.
excluding 76, I mean, you put Fallout, and it's gonna be post-apocalyptic. So I mean, that
So
is a genre of itself.
right, but at the same time, it does have sci-fi elements. It has aliens, and it has you know, fictional scientific weapons like the Tau cannon, the Gauss gun, things of that. It has to do with dark energy and stuff like that. So that's clearly sci-fi. I'm a big fan of the original Halo. I played the original Halo back on PC. That was the only one that was released on PC, and I personally never had an Xbox, but I loved the original Halo. Going back further than that, I loved Star Fox. Again, that's a sci-fi. Going back further than that, I loved the Mega Man series of games. So I've always been a big fan of sci-fi. I think the reason being is because I like the idea of things that are futuristic, and I've always been a firm believer in aliens. Both elements are, pretty prevalent in the sci-fi genre. I've always felt like this universe is just so unimaginably huge that we can't possibly be alone in the universe, whether or not they've even ever visited us. I like the idea of alien societies and, reaching the stars and all that. As our former president Ronald Reagan once put it, I believe when the space shuttle Challenger crashed, they broke the surly bonds of Earth to touch the face of God. And maybe I'm going a little too deep, but yeah, my answer would be sci-fi for the futuristic feel, the laser weapons. Portal is also another sci-fi game that I love. I like robots. I always had a saying that I feel like every child wants one of two things growing up, either a monkey or a robot. I always wanted a robot. I always thought the robot from Rocky 4 was the coolest thing. But not monkey robots. I think monkey robots would be stupid. Nobody wants a monkey robot, but every kid wants either a monkey or a robot. What was the question again?
Your favorite genre and why?
Oh yeah, so my favorite genre would have to be sci-fi. I've always loved sci-fi video games. A popular example would be Mass Effect. I've always liked the Mass Effect series, all three of them. I also like wait a minute. Isn't it your turn?
Yes, now you're starting to repeat yourself. um, but yes, in regards to some favorite genre, uh, I'd say a close second that I kind of play every now and then will be first person shooters, but uh, my number one genre of choice would be horror right off the bat. No questions asked, would just be the horror genre. I love horror movies of all types. I think of the different genres or subgenres, however you want to put it, it would be zombies in regards to movies, but in regards to games, horror in general, whether it's um, Outlast. I would say to an extent, uh, Bioshock kind of falls under there. It's a kind of a gray area, but like Outlast,
Dead by Daylight?
Dead Space, Dead by Daylight, the Resident Evil franchise,
Silent Hill?
The Evil Within, Silent Hill. Yes, all these different horror games have their own different elements, and to an extent, there is some sci-fi twist with it. Again, you can go on and on about trying to classify it the genre or it's horror, shooter, first person, all that good stuff. But overall, though, I think horror is my number one genre. I love horror movies as a kid growing up, and then
You know what? And
um,
this may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't put zombie into the horror um, genre. I think zombie and horror are two completely separate genres. Um, it's very hard to find. I mean, there can be plenty of good or great zombie movies or zombie video games, but I'm hard pressed to find one or think of one that's legitimately scary that would can be considered horror. Don't you think?
you're thinking, are you saying games or movies?
Both. Like I don't. I feel like there's plenty of good zombie movies out there, but I don't really think of them as scary. I think there's plenty of great zombie video games out there, but I don't think they're scary either. So that I don't think that horror and zombies. I think they're two distinctive genres. I don't know. That's just again possibly unpopular opinion.
Maybe.
I have a question for you though. Still relating to the question of the week.
What's up?
Have you ever played Amnesia: The Dark Descent?
I have not. I own it. I am aware of the kind of the premise, but
You
uh,
need to play it. Any horror loving gamer would love this game. It's very good. It's very well done, and it's the one that started the trend of games like Outlast, and I know there's others where you are unarmed. You know, precursors to Amnesia were things like Fear, which Fear is another game that's a great horror game. Have you ever played Fear?
No, but again, I'm aware of it, but never had a chance to play it.
Well, Fear's another game that's a great horror game, but again, you're armed to the teeth with assault rifles and shotguns and shit. Granted that you can't really do much against like the ghost that's hunting you, but you still have that sense of like I'll blow shit up with this. But Amnesia, you're completely unarmed and at the mercy of whatever forces are chasing you, and it kind of started that whole trend. I know that games like Outlast followed it, and there's a bunch of others. Pacify that we've actually played is another one very similar, where you're essentially unarmed. You can't really fight back, other than with the little dolls. But as a lover of horror games, I definitely say you need to play that. Um, and I'll tell you what, I think you need to 100% play that, and not as a silent playthrough. I know you do your little silent playthroughs, with the PlayStation and whatnot, which is great. It's good to have silent playthroughs, but I think people would like to hear your reaction to that, being the horror lover that you are. And I know I'm saying horror, not horror lover. You know what I'm trying to say? You horror
Yes.
lover. But yes, I personally would like to formally make a request that you play that game and play it as a um, with commentary, since you already
We'll
admitted you
see.
haven't.
I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure it's in my PlayStation library.
Double check. All of a sudden, double check after I make this request, right?
I'm sure, like I said, I think it was on a sale, and I heard good things about it, so I bought it on a whim.
It's a
But
good game.
or yeah,
What?
but yeah, I'll look at that game. I heard a lot of good things, but I know you talked about it, Valve's talked about it. Uh, but yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that.
All right. I look forward to it. Anything else you got?
At this time, I think I am pretty good right now.
All
What
right.
about yourself?
I think that's about all that I got. I do want to give a bit of a shout out to Nelson Muntz, or Cousin Obbs, as he's come to be called. He's a guest player who's joined us on several streams and videos, and definitely like having him around, and glad that he's kind of helping to fill my shoes a little bit, since I'm you know taking a bit of a sabbatical from the whole gaming scene a little bit. So kudos to him, and sad that he wasn't here. He wasn't able to be here today, but look forward to many more videos with him.
Yes, he'll still be around doing his thing. Um, yes, circling back to that, I guess the shout out for the indie developer of the week, against going back to the game title Unending Dusk, but the publisher and developer is Vindicate Games. They're the ones who came out with it, and so definitely, if you can, just check out the game or see what's got going on with them. But they're the ones who I recommend for the indie developer.
Very cool. All right. Anything else, or you want to see us out?
I believe that is. Oh yeah, I'm not sure too much, but like I said, um, crap, my mind always goes blank when it comes to this game. Dead Frontier 2. It looks like it's been kind of coming back. There's been a lot of just very minor updates, but at least the guy's still trying to do some little things here and there regards to that game. He said most likely the game will be unfinished, but he's still trying. And I know it's pretty much a one man team, I believe. But either way, that guy's still doing it. So kudos to that guy to keep fighting the fight.
Nice, indeed. If it you know if it's something that he has a passion about, it's I always say passion, or I should say a $1 million budget is no match for the passion of a creator.
Yeah.
Although $1 million budget does help.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll do about for this one thing. We're good to wrap it up. Be sure to stay tuned for our future episodes of Shoot the Shit, as well as our other live streams or uploads. And if you like what you see, be sure to like, share, and subscribe our channel.
That's right. And he has been Obsolete 2003. I have been Espionage DB7, the one. Hey, are you doing the outro? Anyway, this is no. This is Espionage DB7, the one, the only
as
rocket
he
blasted.
as he fell down the tunnel.
Give me the. Okay, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like the video.
What the hell? I think they came to take him away.
It's what? What? Settle down. You settle down.
Okay.
I gotta go. Bye.
Yes. Settle down, everyone.